Arsenal are reportedly going to go big in January for Dusan Vlahovic. There are links today with them also taking a keen eye and look to accelerate a deal for Wijnaldum. Could Arsenal finally get serious in a January transfer window and bolster their hopes of making it back into the Champions League and maybe lifting some silverware this season? Smash that like and that share button. This is the Done Deal Show, the second one of the day, but it is the transfer window. Let's do this. Afternoon, we're back here at Unit 7, the home of the Football Terrace. Our first ever studio watch along is taking place tonight exclusively on Twitch. The link is in our live comment section and the description below if you want to tune in. We're live from around about 7 p.m. So a short afternoon transfer update from myself, taking some calls as well on the show as we build up for a big night of FA Cup third round football with Arsenal and Aston Villa, and some interesting team news surrounding Manchester United. I have read or have seen on a number of different platforms, a number of players are missing, haven't been spotted with the first team squad. Jadon Sancho, Ronaldo, Henderson, Phil Jones, and Anthony Martial. So it's going to be intriguing to see who does arrive, who turns up, who starts. Team news in about 2 hours' time or so. But we're here primarily to talk about Arsenal today. They seem to be the busiest of the top 6 teams. You know, Man City not looking at anybody this month. Liverpool very quiet. Man United have got a few muted reports flying about. We'll give you an update on Denis Zakaria later on the show. But Arsenal seem to be very, very active indeed. And what's intriguing is the news that John Cross has put out. And we want to delve into that in more detail and take your calls on it. I really touched on it this morning. Didn't have time to really research it, look into it, read the article that relates to. We're going to go into that today. Also this afternoon, there are reports that Arsenal are going to accelerate a deal for Wijnaldum. Now, we know that Wijnaldum left Liverpool this summer, joined PSG, but reports suggest that things there have not been so great for the Champions League and Premier League winner. Like a number of the stars they signed. And it's interesting, really, that summer really felt like it was going to be brilliant. It really felt like it was going to be the start of another era for PSG with Donnarumma, Sergio Ramos, Gini Wijnaldum, Lionel Messi, Hakimi, and of course they're winning their league at a canter, but it doesn't feel like it's overtly harmonious over there, and Gini could be on his way back to the Premier League. Now, there are no concrete reports about this, but it has been a name linked to Arsenal on a number of occasions. And when you look at this deal, we have to be honest. Gini Wijnaldum back in the Premier League at Arsenal right now is a problem. It's a problem for Man United. It's a problem for Tottenham. And it's a problem for anybody above Arsenal in the league who happens to find themselves potentially dragged, depending on results, injuries, and everything else, dragged into a top 4 race. Gini Wijnaldum is a top-class Premier League player. I don't care what's gone on in France. I couldn't care less, in fact. He is a top-class Premier League proven player. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And I see a few comments here saying Terry Gini wouldn't go to Arsenal. With all due, that's entitled to your opinion. But for 7 years on the Football Terrace, people have been telling me that players won't go to X club, and they do. We were told all summer there's no way Lukaku is going to go back to Chelsea. There's no way that's going to happen. It happened. There was no way Lionel Messi was leaving Barca. It happened. There was no way Man United were ever going to sign Sancho. It happened. Irrespective of how they perform at those clubs, I was told years ago Pogba wouldn't join. Just told that. We're told these things time and time again. I say don't write anything off. But Arsenal fans, what I'm more intrigued to talk about is the player. How good do you think he would be? For me, Premier League-wise, he's better than Thomas Partey. Premier League-wise, he's better than Granit Xhaka. Different roles, I understand, but when all's equal and you weigh it all up, he would be a better midfield option for Arsenal than anything they've got right now. Experience, winner. He's got energy and stamina for days and days and days. 8 days a week, this guy has stamina. I personally think it would be a tremendous piece of business for Arsenal to bring in Wijnaldum. In some respects, could be as important as any. Yesterday, one of the reasons Arsenal lost, yes, Eddie Nketiah, no movement up front. They had a very young midfield of Lokonga and Patino, who just were drowning. They were drowning in that game because of a lack of experience. And Wijnaldum could really bring that to them. How you doing, Star-Lord? Hope you're well. Thank you. Hi, Terry. Hope you're well. Arsenal need a CM player badly. It showed on Sunday, is what Smithley says here. Terry, loving the Nord, the bald. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'll be wearing a hat later, but like, listen, I'm embracing it, bruv. I'm embracing it. It's all good. I still look $1 million, so it's not a problem. Top of the evening. The true set free, Terry Legend. That's a very lovely comment. Thank you very much. Lukaku is going to PSG in the summer. I read that report a little earlier on, and it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea and Lukaku come to a conclusion and an agreement to say, let's all be friends now. Let's all paint a nice picture on it, and then we'll resolve this matter in the summer. Lukaku can always be controlled in that way if Lukaku was to be told he's allowed to leave. He may also have absolutely not done that. He may absolutely be happy and staying, but it wouldn't be a story that shocked me. If in the summer Lukaku leaves, would I be shocked? No. I don't think it will happen right now, but it wouldn't shock me at all. It wouldn't. Wijnaldum, 31 years old, but he also played for Liverpool, like only half of the games. How much could he still offer? Good question. You've got to look at the deal and how much he's going to cost, what he's going to be paid. But if you just look at the next 18 months, for Arsenal are key. Young players are invariably inconsistent. It's their very nature to be inconsistent while they find their feet. Bringing someone like Gini in now into these 32, 33 years of age gives that experience, gives that winning mentality, gives those extra legs. The drop-off for Arsenal, I mean, Gini's better than what they've got already, but the drop-off when Xhaka and Partey are out is absolutely massive. You saw it yesterday. You know, I don't know who's going to be fit on Thursday for Arsenal versus Liverpool. But if that midfield plays and Eddie Nketiah starts up front, he won't. I think Lacazette will be back in. There's no way you're beating Liverpool, even with their players missing, because Liverpool will run that midfield show. And the midfield is the engine room. The midfield is so key. If you dominate the midfield and you don't win because of defensive mistakes or because attackers are not taking their chances, that's one thing. But when you get overrun in midfield by a championship team, you know there are problems. How do I know that? I'm a Man United fan. My midfield gets run through. People go for our midfield like diarrhea, mate. It's terrible. Absolutely make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribing if you would like to become a member. The link's below in the description. So thank you very much indeed. Now, on to the interesting news today, or the big news today is this. Some press outlets don't want to, how do I say this in the right way? There are a number of outlets that don't want to overcommit to Arsenal in this Vlahovic situation. What I find intriguing is that the British press, one by one, keep pushing variations of the same information. Slightly different nuances here and there, but the message around Vlahovic remains absolutely consistent every single step of the way. And that is that Arsenal are going to go big. Arsenal will put a big offer in. And I'm going to talk about offers a little bit later on in the show. By the way, if anyone wants to call in, the link is already in the description below if you haven't seen it already. We've got the Twitch link pinned because we want you to go follow our Twitch account for the watch along later today. We want to see you all there for that. Right. So what's being said today? Well, John Cross has come out, and I'm going to quote him word for word here. John Cross has said, Arsenal are willing to break the bank for Dusan Vlahovic in January to stop him going anywhere else in the summer. They then go on to explain why he's needed, but they speak about Arsenal's confidence. They speak about Arsenal wanting him, needing him, and being prepared to essentially give whatever it takes to get it done. And I've said all along for the last week now, when this deal has been really circulating and rearing its head, this is from an Arsenal point of view, this is good to see. From an Arsenal perspective, this is good to see. They are doing everything in their power, everything possible to them to get these deals done, to get these deals over the line, to bring these types of players into their football club. Will it get done or not? We don't know. Arsenal are even taking a big PR risk here. The reason that the Ornsteins, the reason that the Dean Joneses, the reason that the John Crosses have got this information, none of which and nobody anywhere has said Arsenal. So I see a lot of this is all nonsense. They're not getting him. None of it is nonsense. Arsenal are trying to get him. Whether they sign him or not is a completely different story and claim. But Arsenal are going to go big. They are briefing the media that they are going to go big. They run the risk. They run the risk of being embarrassed. They do, because they're releasing this information. If it doesn't happen, we know how football works. Banter will ensue. People will make claims of embarrassment, small club, no Paul, blah, blah, blah. We know what's coming with this. So I think it's a very brave move from Arsenal to keep briefing the press, to not shut it down, to talk about there being, and the article goes on to say this here. It says, Gunners boss Mikel Arteta has admitted that they are open to doing a big deal in this window, and signing a striker is the priority, with Lacazette being out of contract in the summer and Aubameyang being out of favour. The fact that's been spoken about openly, publicly by Mikel Arteta, and a number of journalists are being briefed with the same information. There's a lot of stuff coming out. They're prepared to pay big money for the agent as well. It's a really intriguing thing. Arsenal fans should be sitting there. I don't know if excitement is the right word, but there should be an air of anticipation of what's going to happen here. At the very least, there is a distinct possibility that Arsenal could get this done. And I'll tell you as to why. The one thing Arsenal wouldn't do in this circumstance is chase the player if there was zero. That's meant to be a zero, but zero chance. If there was no chance whatsoever that this deal could be done, Arsenal would pull away. Point blank. There's no point risking embarrassment if there's no chance of the spoils. There's no point risking embarrassment if there is no chance, no opportunity. Niente, this is not going to happen. Arsenal think it can. The problem is still the player. He's got some other clubs that he would prefer, that are preferred destinations. But Arsenal are on the charm offensive. Arsenal are trying to convince him that this is the place for you. So I'm not going to, as we all know, I'm not going to laugh at Arsenal for trying to sign someone they may not end up getting. I think it shows, brilliant ambition. For the first time in forever, it feels like they're going into a January window trying to improve their squad to solidify what already looks like could turn into a good league campaign. You add Vlahovic to that attacking line. You add Genie into that middle. I feel like with the way United are playing, and the fact that Spurs are not signing people, the whole caveat for me with Conte coming in and getting them top four was they had to sign some players in Jan. They don't sign anyone of any real note, and Arsenal pull off those two signings. Arsenal become, for me, the instant favourites from that point to make the top four. So they're going for it. It also means the summer is less stressful. They have that number one striker in. They have another body in midfield. It makes their summer transfer window much, much easier. So this is, for me, it's a complicated deal. It's difficult to get done. They've got to convince the player, who still may say, thank you, Arsenal, but I'm going to wait until the summer before I make a decision. But if what John Cross has said, if what Dean Jones has said comes to fruition, and if Arsenal put their money where their mouth is and follow through with their claims that they are willing to break the bank, there's always the potential for these deals to get done. At the end of the day, there's two things I learned in life. Everything is for sale at the right price. And I'm talking everything that's looked at as a commodity or is transferable. Let's not get deep on this. And never say never. The never say never approach is a madness. As we've said, the most reliable and trusted transfer guru in the world will tell us one thing, and then a club or a player can change its mind overnight, and the world changes. Arsenal have a plan for Vlahovic. They want to advance the Vlahovic deal. They want to bring him in. They are pushing to get it done in this January window. And I think, at the very least, that's something Arsenal fans should be proud of. Now, they've got to get it over the line. And what's the backup plan if it doesn't happen? But it's a very good approach. And the British press, it's kind of interesting how the British press are kind of looking at this. And I tell you what, they're also running the risk on. So we'll look very quickly at the Dennis Zakaria news. So I got a text from my friend today that said it's pronounced Zakaria. So I'm going to go with Zakaria until somebody else will text me later and say it's Zakaria. But anyway, I was looking at that deal. Fabrizio came out today. We obviously did the story this morning and asked a question whether it was close. There was reports this morning that a bid had gone in. My thoughts were, I don't think an official bid has gone in. An official bid. You listen to what Fabrizio said, and I've read a number of tweets quoting him. No official bid has gone in. Man United are not officially doing anything. This is what's really key about Arsenal's approach to Vlahovic. There's none of that official talk. When I hear a tier one say there's no official bid, that tells me one thing. Man United are interested. We know Man United are interested in Dennis Zakaria. That for me is a fact. As you see my green ticks, it is an active deal. It could happen. But we know he's talking to other clubs. It's identical to Julian Alvarez. When a player is talking to multiple clubs, what you tend to get 9 times out of 10, what you get is the clubs play it down. They brief the media that they may have had some loose talks. They may have shown an interest. They may have scouted him once upon a time in a million years. But they say no official approach, no official talks, and or no official bid. That way, when you look at Dennis Zakaria, if he picks, say Man United today make it official, yeah, we have put an official bid in. The world goes crazy, but the player hasn't decided to join Man United. And then Liverpool match the bid and he picks Liverpool. It's a PR nightmare. It is banter central, and clubs look to avoid that at all costs. So Fabrizio is telling the truth, 100%. Man United have made no official bid. Have they turned around to Borussia Mönchengladbach or the agent and said, if we put a £5 million bid in, would that be accepted? Probably. Would the player want to come? Maybe. We are talking to other clubs as well. Okay, we'll keep us updated and we'll see where we stand. That, for me, is probably what Man United have done. Arsenal's approach is different. Arsenal are being bold. They're being a little bit rash, maybe, but it's almost like a peacock showing its feathers to try and attract the best mate. It's an element of, we need to show Dusan that we are serious. We want to actively show everybody else who's looking at him that we want him first. Let's see if any of them react. Because if none of them come out the woodwork to act, we can go back into Vlahovic's camp and say, look, we've made it very public. We want you. Who else has put an offer in like us? Who else wants you like we do? These things could help Arsenal Football Club. It's not a foregone conclusion. It isn't a guarantee that they're going to sign him. But that feels like the approach from me. That feels like the approach for me. And I'm not sure they're going to get it done, but I'm impressed by the approach. I see what they're doing now. I see the method in the madness. There's a very famous scene from Rocky 3, the final scenes really, where Rocky gets in the ring and he absolutely outboxes Clubber Lang, Mr. T, in the first round, makes him angry, and then spends the next 1 and a bit rounds taking a beating. But what he's actually doing is making the fighter punch himself out so he can no longer hit him, and then he goes on the offensive again at that pace because Rocky trained in that fight to only be able to last 3 to 4 rounds, but he had to take him out in that time, right? Otherwise, he'd have been exhausted. Very clever. Sometimes it's like, is that the tactic? Be bold, be brave, and then say, Juve say they're number one target. They're not. We're trying to get you now. They haven't come in for you. City have said you're a number one target. They haven't come in for you. Spurs spent the whole summer saying how much they loved you. They haven't come in for you, but we have. I think the charm offensive is along those lines. Vlahovic still might say, don't care, I'm going to wait until the summer, but they're trying. And I think that's very, very good I think it's a very, very good approach indeed. You can call in if you want. The link to dial in is inside our description below if you fancy having a bit of a chit chat or a chin wag with us about this. Remember, we are live for our first studio watch along this evening. That's going to go live around 7 p.m. I've still got to get this room set up. So once I finish here, I've got a very busy couple of hours getting this room ready, cameras, lighting done, and getting ready to. I was about to say where the TV is. The TV's over there. So we're all ready to go on that one. Let's make sure that gets done. Aston Villa will beat Man United today. Sorry, Terry. Yeah, they made. That's my prediction as well, my friends. You don't have to say sorry to me. It's what I felt. Dusan would pick City other than them still. Yeah, but he may pick City, but not if City aren't looking at him. It depends. City are going to go for Haaland. Maybe City's order is Haaland, Kane, Vlahovic. Will he wait then? What if he waits and Arsenal pick someone else? Spurs get someone else, and Juve get someone else, and then he's left going, I'm still at Fiorentina. These things can happen in football. You know, these things can happen. He wants this big money move. He wants to get it done. There's no doubt about it. And as I say, in terms of the Zakaria deal, Fabrizio has confirmed there's been no official bid. Not deny. I don't think there has been an official bid. I felt that the whole way. It didn't feel like an official bid had gone in. Is it active? Is it on? Are Man United looking at it? Is there a possibility? Absolutely. But he's speaking to a number of clubs. I get the feeling we're not his number one place to come. That's my gut feeling on it. But that isn't abnormal in these circumstances. But we'll see what will transpire. We'll see what will happen moving forward. You would choose City over the Gunners. Stop projecting. Why would you pick? City may not be an option. If City are fighting for Haaland, we don't know the scenario. Let me paint you a scenario that could be one rational reason why we would pick Arsenal over City. So let's say we're in the summer now, not January, the summer. City are fighting hard to get Haaland. But Vlahovic is told they don't get Haaland, they're going to go in big for Harry Kane again. But Arsenal want you now. He may still decide to wait. He may go, I'd rather secure my future now. That happens. Without being rude, my friend, to not look at that as a logical outcome is crazy to me. There are no foregone conclusions in this transfer market. And I think to suggest that it's impossible for Arsenal to get him is wrong. In my view, is wrong. We've got some callers here. Raphael is going to be on the show first to have his say with us right now on the Football Terrace. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. You subscribe to the Terrace as well. Let's do our first call.
Yeah.
Raphael, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm good.
What do you want to say? Let's know who you support. What do you want to say?
I support Real Madrid. Yeah, talking about Vlahovic, obviously, you've been talking about Arsenal, but I don't think he's got Arsenal in his mind because, well, I'm Italian, and in his interview, he said he wants to take Fiorentina to Europe before he decides where he would go. I mean, his objective is to take Fiorentina to Europe or to let's say to a bigger step, and then after that, he will decide to leave. That's his plan for now. So, in my opinion, he doesn't. If that's what he said, he doesn't see Arsenal as an objective because Arsenal, the objective he has right now, taking Fiorentina to Europe, is what Arsenal is trying to do right now. So why would you go to a different club like that? Which tells me that's not his objective. That's not where he wants to go. Because if that's the case, if he takes Fiorentina to Europe, why not stay at Fiorentina?
Because Fiorentina are paying him around £50,000 a week, and Arsenal can pay him anywhere between 150 to 250,000. He can triple his money.
Actually, Fiorentina are prepared to give him like around 180. I think that's what they've offered him.
Yeah, I think he's
had that on the table for a while.
He's leaving Fiorentina. With all due respect to Fiorentina,
yeah, of course. I think
Arsenal in the Premier League are a much bigger attraction.
Arsenal, I don't think so.
Arsenal in the Premier League are a bigger attraction.
Well, the Premier League for sure. Sure. The Premier League for sure, but not Arsenal.
Yeah, so that could be a possibility. I look at it this way: like Arsenal are on the way up; they are improving. I kind of get where you're coming from. I think the money, the fame, living in London, I think everything that comes with it, being part of one of the most historic clubs in the world, I think Arsenal have a genuine chance personally. I do. I understand your point, and I think Arsenal are working very hard to do it. It's why they're reportedly willing to break the bank. I think Arsenal know if they're going to bring him in, they've got to pay big money to Fiorentina. They've got to give him big money to the agent and to the player. There is an outside chance. Where do you think he'll end up yourself? Where do you think he's going to go?
I don't know. I mean, do you think Arsenal are willing to pay 80 million?
They offered not far below that for other players in the summer. They've spent £72 million on Pepe. So they've spent big money in the past. Remember, it was only a few summers ago. They offered nearly £100 million for Thomas Lemar. They just got their approach wrong. They actually could have bought him for cheaper 2 months earlier. So Arsenal have money. Arsenal can spend. Arsenal can go for it. And I suppose it's one of these things. If Arsenal feel like we can make the top four and get that Champions League money, but we need a Vlahovic to get that done, they could take that gamble and do it. So I think they could be willing to do it myself. And the way they're briefing, the thing is, the way they're briefing the press, if they don't put a big bid in, or their fans are going to be fuming, especially the people that don't like the club at the moment. They'll be like, hang on a minute, you because it isn't just one journalist. There's so many that are talking about this at the same time. That's what's intriguing to me. But where do you think he'll end up himself, my friend? Where do you think he'll go? Sorry.
Do you think he could go to Man City? Because
Man City want Haaland as a first choice, so he's going to have to wait for that whole scenario to be settled first.
I mean, Guardiola, from his body language, it doesn't look like every time people talk about Haaland, he looks, I don't know, it looks like he's a bit annoyed when people talk about Haaland. Like in his interviews, anytime there's a question about Haaland, he looks a bit angry, or he tries to avoid the question.
I mean, personally, I ain't seen that. I don't know.
I've been watching his interviews. That's how he looks like.
Maybe he's just a bit annoyed at being asked about it all the time, and because most managers give the same generic answer, I don't speak about other people's players. So it's almost a case of, why are you asking me? You know what I'm going to say, rather than it being a Haaland problem. But Raphael, listen, great call, my friend. Thank you very much for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate that, bro. Top man. Jason's on the show next. Jason is a gooner, I believe. Jason's on with us now. What you saying, buddy? Oh, sorry, wrong person. It moved. I'll go back to Vladimir. Jason, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm very well. You're right. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Yeah, of course I want to say about Vlahovic. Yeah, I think he's a top quality striker, but I don't know. I have my doubts since January. I'm not gonna lie. So I just feel like the way he's moving, I feel like he doesn't want to come to us. I don't know why. I just have a bad feeling about it, actually, regarding this deal, in terms of we pushing it more. But I don't know about he basically blocked. I don't know, his agent basically just saying that, we kind of blocked his number, blocked Arsenal from approaching us, blah blah blah, this and that. I'm not too sure about it, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure if he's convinced.
Look, it's going to be a difficult one. There is no doubt that it's going to be difficult for Arsenal to get it over the line, to get it done, to finish it, etc. It is going to be hard, and he may not go. I think the player's going to keep his cards close to his chest. You've got to remember here, PR is key. If he comes out and is like, Arsenal would be amazing, and then it doesn't happen, and then in the summer he goes to Man City, it's going to be really awkward. But in January you said Arsenal was the dream club for you to go to. They just keep their everybody will keep their cards close to their chest at this time. Yeah. This is going to boil down to money, the offer, and selling the project to him. It's only if, for instance, the player had no desire. So that rumor that came out a few weeks ago, where they said he's ignoring the calls.
Yeah.
If right now there was no chance of this deal happening, the player via his agent would come out and just categorically say, I am not joining Arsenal, point blank. But the fact that they're not doing that right now suggests there is an opportunity. I mean, 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days time, they might completely decide they're not going to join Arsenal. And then it comes out and everybody will turn around and say, see, I told you it was impossible. But right now it is possible. It's only after the fact, and when he said it's only after he says no that it's impossible. Right now, it's being considered. Right now, it's being thought about.
Yeah, considered, but I feel like he's just using us as a backup plan or just a stepping stone or something like that. So, I mean, I feel like if he's not committed, then why not like go for someone else that is willing to join our club.
So if I could say to you now, you could have Vlahovic for 3 years, and in 3 years, he's going to look at where Arsenal are and maybe leave. Or you could have Dominic Calvert-Lewin that would be happy to spend the next 10 years there. Who would you pick?
That's a really tough choice, to be honest with you. Because Dominic Calvert-Lewin has done it in the Premier League, and with Vlahovic, can see he has done it for like a year or two. But I feel like Vlahovic is more prolific, but he's a really of a tough choice, to be honest with you, actually. I can't pick one of them each, but I would literally say, yeah, it's really tough, I can't lie. Dominic Calvert-Lewin kind of like spins my head a little bit, but however, you can see from, I don't think as a club, I feel like, obviously we link with the likes of Isaac, Jonathan David, other strikers available, but they're not as top quality as it is. Like the market, I don't think the market has the top quality strikers like that used to have like back in like a few years back. If you know what I mean.
I hear you, Jason. Great call, my friend. Thank you very, very much indeed. We'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Oracle here says Dusan's deal screams agent influence. If Arsenal pay the agent fees, this is happening. Agents would want to be paid now rather than the summer as well. That is also key, and that's why the rumor is between 10 and 15 million pounds to the agent. That's an influence, and I say fair play to Arsenal. Laddie's on the show now. Laddie's a Chelsea fan. What you saying, bro?
Hi, can you hear me?
Perfect, my brother. What's on your mind?
Okay, so about this Vlahovic, let me just tell you, like up front, Vlahovic cannot play at Arsenal. He can't. The kind of way they play is they need a Lautaro Martinez and Isak, even DCL, because they need to bring in Saka to come in from the side. They need to bring in Martinelli. They need to bring in all these players. But Vlahovic is a bully. Have you actually seen his games for Fiorentina?
I've seen some stuff, not like I haven't watched him deeply. And
he's getting his ass whooped right now 4-0 by Fiorentina, by Torino as we speak, actually. But he is. Think about Drogba at 21. He's built solid. He's going to bully. He's going to fight. He's like a more mobile Lukaku. So what's going to happen is they're going to have this person who is not like Aubameyang, who is not like Lacazette, who is not like any player they have, and expect him to fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. It's not going to work because he will bang in the goals, but you're going to find out that everybody drops off. Remember what happened with Van Persie when he was with Arsenal? He was actually very good. But when he went to Man U, what happened? He became prolific. Remember all those like long balls from Rooney, and he was smashing them in because they played to his strengths. They should go for, in my opinion, Igal is absolutely right. He was absolutely right. I saw your last podcast, your last cast. I know he said Isak. Isak is more Nwankwo Kanu. He's a bit stronger, a bit faster, but he'll bring in players from he'll bring in Emil Smith-Rowe. He'll bring them in, and they'll all play off of each other, and they will win a lot of games. But if they bring in Vlahovic, Terry, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. They're going to get very frustrated because he's going to be a bully. He's going to be strong, but he's not going to bring anybody else in for them to actually win games. I actually wanted him over Lukaku. I wanted him with Chelsea for the next 5 years. He was going to be he's going to be a beast. He's going to be a beast for sure.
You just sort of feel like he won't match Arsenal's needs. You think he could be a bit of a flop at Arsenal, essentially?
Oh my God! Okay, I think he will not be his best. Does that make sense? He will not be at his best. And the team will not be at their best. It's going to be a square peg in a round hole. They should go for it. I'm telling you this. I really did not want Lukaku, but here we go. Whatever. But Isak, DCL, he's too injury prone. I don't know anything about the Jonathan David guy. If they have the money for that, they should go for Lautaro Martinez. Like, he's a baller, and he will bring in everybody and actually make everybody tick. And Terry, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you honestly, if you see Vlahovic in there, they're going to definitely have a goal scorer, but he's going to be the only goal scorer because nobody else is going to bring in goals.
Like the end point type thing. Okay, I hear you. I hear your point there. Listen, Laddie, great call. Make sure you phone in again. Really good points being raised. Very articulate too. Top man. Thank you, Laddie. Arsenal fans, are you worried about what Laddie said there? Do you feel like maybe that's a bit of Chelsea bias coming in? Bit worried, bit of fear? I don't know. I'm asking you a question. Josh is on the show now. What are you saying, Josh?
Yo, sorry, man. I'm good. How you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm very well. What did you make of the previous caller essentially saying that you can get him, he won't ever, be at his best at Arsenal? What's your take on that?
Whoa. Um, First of all, I would like to say RIP to Shocks. Rest in peace, that guy, man. What a guy he was. Legend. Honestly, he was one of my inspirations as well. I looked up to him. He was a wonderful guy, man. Rest in peace to him. Seriously. Seriously, man. Rest in peace to him. Onto what the caller said. It's his opinion at the end of the day. But I think, well, obviously yesterday we lost to Nottingham Forest. Yes, they're a championship team. But as you can see, if you remove one or two players, let's say Aubameyang, like Lacazette, with Saka, maybe we have nothing. We have no quality going forward. So someone like Vlahovic would add more quality with what we have already. We've got obviously Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Smith Rowe. So obviously, I mean, we'll see what happens in it. But also Ishak,
Can you do me a favor? Try not to breathe into your mic for me, please. Is that all right?
cool. Sorry about that. He's injury prone. I think so. He's injury prone. So I'm gonna say no on Ishak because of his injuries. To Calvert-Lewin, I'm gonna say no as well because he's injury prone. But yes, he's Premier League proven. I understand that. Honestly, I'll take Vlahovic in a heartbeat. But again, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get excited because obviously, as you know, Arsenal can do a madness and bloody sign. I don't know, more players, something. But I'm gonna be patient and we'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you for having me,
Appreciate that.
Terry.
Listen,
Thank you, man.
my man Josh, thank you very much
Cheers,
for coming
man.
on today and having a conversation with us and blowing in my ear the whole time. It's so loud in these earphones. I don't know about you not watching, but in my ears, it is hella. So it's easy Darth Vader. Those comments about Vlahovic are pretty in depth, and he could be right. A forward who can link up the attacking strength of Arsenal sounds like a better option than a natural bully who will look to be the only goal scorer. In the end, it'll all depend on how Arteta uses him to bring the best out of him. And I think that's very key as well. You see him in one team, one system, one style of play. Let's look at it, from the other point. Let's see what, another manager might have a completely different approach or use for him, as you've said. So yeah, there are a number of things here that that could be at play, that could happen, and everything else. So no, I totally get where you're coming from there, my friend. What is that about? That's a weird thing. Anyway, sorry, I'll sort that in a minute. Let's do another call here. Solly is on the show now. What are you saying, Solly?
Hi, Terry.
How you doing? What do you want to say, my friend?
I do not agree with the previous caller that said Vlahovic will not fit in Arsenal. I don't think it's right. Regarding the suggestion about Van Persie just had one good season at Arsenal. Prior season he had injury problems, so you can't use that as stake on this. On Vlahovic, I think he'll be a perfect fit for Arsenal. He's tall, he's mobile, so crosses will be fantastic. Passes on will be fantastic. So I do not agree with the Chelsea caller suggesting he will not be a success. I think he will be a huge success. He's young, he's coachable, he's mobile, and will fit perfectly into what we're trying to do at Arsenal.
Listen, I think he's a talent in terms of what I've seen. Do I watch Serie A? No. So I've kind of watched snippets and I've watched clips via Wire Scout. So, watching his movement, his touch. I look at a player that I think is very technically. I get why he can bully, but I also think he's very technically gifted. And I sort of feel like sometimes these more traditional sort of centralized strikers can get a bit of a bad rap in the modern day game. But no one would look at Lewandowski now and be like, oh, he won't be able to link up play. Harry Kane can link up play. Lewandowski could link up play. Suarez could link up play, but they were central players. You look at the way they play. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to interact with those players, but we will see. My friend, excellent call, Solly. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. and everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. As I say, a slightly shorter show today. We've got to now get set up for our first ever live Football Terrace watch along here in the studio for Man United Aston Villa. It's exclusive on our Twitch channel, so go and subscribe to that now. The link's pinned in our live comment section. We're live back on YouTube after the game straight away, sponsored by Boohoo Man tonight. So we've got a really good discount code coming for you to get you some discount off of some of their clothes, clobber, trainers, and all that stuff. So make sure you're tuning in tonight. Big night on the terrace. Thank you very much indeed. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.